Our first stop takes us up the trail of the Incas to mysterious Machu Picchu. Our destination, Peru. Peru is a land of primitive beauty and stark contrast, where echoes of the far distant past can still be heard in cities and villages. In Peru, as in Egypt, the past is something you can literally reach out and touch. Peru is the third largest country in South America, about 3 times the size of California, with a coastline running 1,400 miles along the Pacific. You've probably heard the news of the recent archaeological discovery here, a 1,500-year-old pre-Inca tomb filled with priceless jewelry and ceramics. But that's just part of a much larger story. Anthropologists say the ancestors of these native Peruvians were among the mightiest people in history. I've done a good deal of traveling in what's called the Third World, from Africa to Asia and elsewhere in South America. But to me, this country is unique. Part of the reason is obvious: style. The Quechua Indian women especially, in their top hats and derbies and layers of colorful clothing, present an image that's purely Peruvian, one you will find nowhere else. Peru does have this in common with some other countries of the region, but the uniforms and machine guns fade into the general scene, and you hardly notice them after a day or two. The same goes for political demonstrations. Several years ago, the U.S. State Department issued a travel advisory for Americans headed here. That advisory is still in effect, but it has not stemmed the flow of visitors.
We go to Machu Picchu tomorrow, so I'm sure it's going to be a lifetime experience.
We've been in South America 3 weeks, and this is really one of the climaxes of the trip for us.
Of the trip.
If you don't feel like venturing too far out of the 20th century, my advice is stay in the capital city of Lima, which was founded a mere 400 years ago by the Spanish conquistador Francisco Pizarro. Here, the Pacific rolls up on wide, sandy beaches, and the locals rub elbows with foreign travelers in the cafes of the fashionable Miraflores district. Here, too, you will find the 5-star hotels and restaurants. But I didn't come all the way to Peru for mineral water. This was more like it. From the city of Cusco, we head high into the Andes aboard a slightly antiquated train that ran more or less on time, carrying a mix of passengers deep into the heartland of the ancient Incas. It was a 4-hour ride from Cusco to the Inca ruins at Machu Picchu. Time to think about where we had just been. Cusco is one of the major reasons for a visit to Peru. It's where the travel posters pop to life, and the Quechua Indians carry on traditions older than the New World.
Cusco, the word Cusco comes from a Quechua word, Cusco, which means navel, the center of the world.
The center of the world for the Incas, who spread their advanced civilization throughout the South American continent nearly 1,000 years ago. From this massive fortress called Sacsayhuaman, the Incas ruled till the 16th century, when the Spanish destroyed their empire. The Incas were probably the best stonemasons in history. These huge blocks, weighing tons, are so tightly fitted, you can't slip a knife between them. And it was all done without mortar. Cusco is where you will shop for native arts and crafts. Alpaca sweaters and other items of wool or cotton are the best buys here. Just learn a little Spanish and be prepared to bargain. Cusco lies in a fertile valley cut through by the sacred river of the Incas, the Urubamba. These days, you might see a boatload of Americans or Europeans headed downstream. In fact, you might even be on board. Shooting the rapids of the Urubamba deep in the Andes is a major draw for adventure travelers. At the end of that train ride, we faced another half-hour bone-jarring bus trip up the mountain, way up the mountain, 7,000 feet, to Machu Picchu. No one can say for sure why the Inca chose to build this fabulous structure way up here high in the Andes like some sort of nesting condor, but I think everyone who comes here discovers that mystery is part of the beauty of Machu Picchu.
It's absolutely incredible.
It's incredible.
It is indeed, and mysterious and wonderful, and all the adjectives you've ever heard about the lost city of the Incas. So remote, the conquistadors never found it.
We camped there, waiting just for the for the sun comes and to see Machu Picchu from above. It's fantastic. Everybody has to do it.
It can be exhausting climbing around at this altitude, but Machu Picchu is your own reward, as it was for American explorer Hiram Bingham, who discovered it in 1911. All those centuries wrapped in the mist of the Andes, undisturbed. Not unlike Peru itself, I found it a colorful, adventure-filled gem in the rough, precisely the kind of vacation experience I enjoy most.